Do it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hoof Live. We're coming at you for week 8. I got my dudes back. We got Anthony Romeo NY up top and
What's
Eric
up?
back from the dead.
Yes.
My guy was sick last week. What is going on, Moochie? How you feel, man?
Man, I think I spent one day with 12 hours trying to figure out how I got COVID and then how you get COVID with a vaccine. And then the next day I found out all my tests were negative. So I actually just had the flu.
Yeah, crazy.
Mind blowing.
Still out there.
I thought for sure it was COVID.
Yep.
Oh,
That's.
yeah.
I'm glad you didn't
But-
have COVID.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you.
complications that come with that, but still never fun to be sick.
Well, it's just
Between
funny too
that-
because like urgent care is like, we don't even barely treat the flu. Don't even come here.
Yeah, just take meds.
They were just very.
That's all
They
they do.
didn't actually say that, but their body language, the things,
Yeah.
the vibe that I got was they don't even treat that anymore.
If you don't have a fever that's 100 and
You're
something,
really lucky you don't have COVID. I'm like, I'm still
Yeah.
dying though. I'm still
Yeah.
like in bed sick.
wow. That's rough. That
Yeah.
is rough. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah.
Anthony,
Yeah.
how are you doing, man?
not bad, man. And thanks for carrying the load last week because I was also out due to work-related circumstances, but and it was last minute, unfortunately. So thank you for covering for us. You did a great job last week in our absence. But it's great to have the band back together. This is what it's supposed to be like. The three of us. Hopefully, we can get this going, keep this going for the rest of the year. No excuses now. We should all be here for the rest of the season. Excited, man. The bye week, we had to do what we had to do. Bye week, relax a little. It was my wife's birthday, which was nice. Kathy's birthday
Oh, okay.
on the 15th, and I told her, I moved that game to Monday. Had the Bills move that game to Monday. It does
course.
seem like we've been lucky there every year where either they play like on a Monday or it's the bye week or something. I'm like, yeah, for your birthday, I had them do that. And then the bye week, we got to travel a little on Sunday, which was nice, and look at the fall leaves and everything. But man, am I excited to be back, because it's weird when your team isn't playing for a whole week and you're like, but do I watch football? Do I really care? I'm not
Yeah.
invested.
Look, man. So, all right. So, let's see. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, right? Bills played Monday night,
Mhm.
so we had a Sunday off. So I went fishing in Georgetown. It was fantastic, beautiful. It was like the water looked like glass, man. It was like
Beautiful.
it was muy bueno. And then last weekend I had, me and my son, he, like you, Eric, he tested positive for COVID, and then he tested negative like the next day. So, anyways, long story short, he couldn't go to school last week. And so I was taking care of him. And so I didn't do anything on Sunday, really. I just hung out with him. So, but it's good to see you guys, and welcome again to the Cover One Network. Just want to make sure you guys know to like, follow, and subscribe to Cover One and the Hoof Live podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms. Wherever you do the podcasting, you can find us there. So make sure you do so. And I always say, we have the best content creation team in terms of Bills content in the business, in the game. When you want entertainment, you want to laugh and get you with a little realness, that's where we come in. That's where I come in. My guys here. When you want film analysis, deep dive, and analytics, you talk to the other guys on the network. Eric does a lot of film room stuff. He had one that came out talking about the Bills in the red zone. There's so many things, if you want to do writing, you got Rob Quinn, and it's just so much. So if you want to subscribe, we appreciate it. All the likes, all the follows. We have a Slack channel where we're, just hashing it out, talking with you, what's going on Bills related. You could do that. Subscriptions are welcome. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and pay the dues? So I don't know if you guys have heard of Underdog Fantasy, but this is the place where you can start drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash prizes. Download the app, Underdog Fantasy. There's no extra cost. And this is a place where you can win big. You could do player prop parlays. And if you enter the promo code COVER1, you can get $10 added to your first deposit. They're giving you a free $10. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. You cannot beat that. So anyway, Lone Wolf is in the house, y'all. He says if you're a fan of the NFL and not strictly a home where you watch football, even during the Bills.
Trust me, I watched football. It was more about the taking a break, just like the players have a bye week and the coaches, right? They need to take a week off. I can speak for Eric and Sterling and myself and tell you that we put a lot of time and effort into this show to make it what it is. And it's not just on Tuesday night. It's during the week. It's watching film. It's prepping the stuff. It's posting it. It's all of that time and energy. And so we also need to take a little time during the bye to spend time with our families and step away a little bit and fulfill those promises, because, we do miss out on a lot putting it into the show. But it's because we love doing this. Don't get me wrong. We do this because we love this too. And I did catch a little bit of football still too. I don't know about you guys, but Underdog Fantasy is part of the reason why I won some good bets this weekend in head-to-head matchups and a couple of pick'ems. I was pretty happy with it. So
did you win? Did you win anything this weekend? Because I didn't win shit.
Really? I did post a 5 for 5, by the way, on Twitter, and I went 4-1 for like the 5th straight week. We're so close to that 5-0, man. I'm so close every time. The Bills.
You can just rename the segment for
the Bills versus the Titans. I was 4-1 because the Bills would have been the 5th.
So listen,
that sucks. But
listen, I had a 13-team parlay. I had six. Yes, I had 6 college teams.
Wow.
And I had 7 NFL teams. And
just straight or against the line?
The spread.
Spread? Wow. Okay.
I got 11 of them right.
Oh my God, that's wow.
I got all my college picks right. You want to know who effed me over? You want to know who effed me over?
Who was it?
The damn Dolphins. I picked them to cover the spread.
What?
No. I picked the Falcons to cover the spread by 3.5, and they let the freaking Dolphins score a touchdown at the end of the game, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I would have stayed away from that
game. You want to know who else effed me over? You want to know who else? The damn 49ers. How are you going to be at home? You got Indianapolis coming to you, and you're at home in the rain. And
did you watch that game? Yeah. Did you watch the rain? Man, it was like boring. 3 back-to-back plays where it was just bloop, bloop. One play where Indy, I thought he was going down. The ball pops out because it was so wet. Next play, ball comes out. Fumble by 49ers back to Indy. I'm like, wow, this is some sloppy football in the rain right now. But that game was ugly. Yeah. And I knew, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be like a 10-6 final score or something.
I'm at the place right now to where I'm giving up. I don't think I can bet this season. It's just not. It's not. I don't know. I need to change it up and do something different. But
you're setting yourself up for 13-game parlay. That's a.
Well, that was fun though.
It's fun.
And I should have cashed out. I should have just cashed out.
Are you ever going to be satisfied though? At the end of the day,
hell no.
Obviously, if you win, but
I don't know about. If you. Impossible. So I've been putting about $20 to $40 on my 5-team parlays. and
Every
that'll
week?
pay out. That pays out like $1,000 or $1,200 depending on the money, the betting lines that I take. But yeah, that I would
What?
just hit one of those and I'll be happy. I'll take it.
Wait,
Yeah,
you're
five-team
getting that
parlay.
you're getting that a week?
5-team parlay. If you put 20 to 40 bucks
Oh,
down,
okay.
it
Oh,
pays
okay. I thought you said you're winning that a week. I'm like, well, shit.
no, I
Let me
wish.
do yours then.
No,
Damn.
but my big bets of the week have been paying off, and I'm doing pretty well this season. We'll say that, and it doesn't hurt that I'm a Bills fan and have put my money on the Bills when it counts too. Like that Texans game when I told everybody like you better throw some money down, and they were worried about the money or the point line, and I'm like, not in this game. Texans aren't an NFL team, and now look at what they've looked like since then. 2 other 13 plus point spreads, and they didn't cover that. So yeah, we'll see.
Man, it's look, dude. I'm happy that you're back and we could do the 5 for 5 because I think our fans need to get that bag.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
And it's one of those things where Christmas is coming, right? The holiday season is coming. And those of you guys out there that got lady friends, you want to buy them a Birkin, or you want to buy them a Coach, or whatever you want to do out there. These things are of the most important. So, did you guys? So there's a few things I want to chat at you about today. Okay. One, it's Miami Dolphins week. Okay. And number two, with that being said, we definitely have being at Miami Dolphins week. We have to talk about Tua tonight. That to me is very interesting because there's so many trade rumors revolving his name, and I mean it's been happening for the year, right? And I'm excited to talk about that with you guys. Obviously, it's a Bills bye week, so there's no Bills pressing news that we can kind of get into, right? So we're just going to kind of talk about some of our midseason awards or first quarter awards, if you will. And also, you guys know that when I watch Bills games, I'm usually downtown Denver, at our spot. And I wanted to show you this. This guy right here. You see this man right here? This was week number 2. This guy decided with his resident redneck friend to his left and his other redneck friend to his left, that they wanted to come down, be Dolphins fans, and watch the Bills at a Bills bar. Okay, and let me tell you, that shit was funny. Okay, so this guy came in, he was talking shit, he was smiling. It's sunny, it's Denver, it's perfect. You see Coors Field in the background. We're in a rooftop, right? And this guy thinks that he's going to come in to our Colorado Bills Backers Club talking shit, eat our food, drink our blue light, and sit in our effing bar and watch the game with us, which I don't know why people think that this is okay. But this guy, y'all know the Bills just destroyed them. They didn't even score. And he has that Eli Manning look on his face. And he had it the whole time. So wherever you are, sir, please, we welcome you to come back and watch the game with us. It was a massacre, and I do plan on seeing you and the Bills whoop that ass this weekend.
Let's go, baby.
This is Justin here. He says, yo, I never get to catch you guys live. I always listen the next day while I drive.
Hey, Justin.
I appreciate you guys dedicating time to talk Bills. Well, Justin, damn it. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Thank you. We couldn't do this without you guys, the fans. So, but with that being said, shall we do our damn thing? Shall we do this?
Let's get it, baby. Let's go. We're wired, man. We've had a few weeks to stretch for this one.
You guys took some time off. So
yeah, right.
Look, yeah, you guys are going to have to bring the thunder tonight. All right. This is a segment of the show called What's Poppin'. This is where we're going to go over the latest and the greatest. Around the NFL, I have a few topics prepared that I do not show my team, my fellas, and we kind of talk about these things. So, with that being said, without further ado, first topic of the day is the Bengals take the North. Beat the Ravens 41-17, Lamar Jackson 15-31, 257. Joe Burrow 23-38, 416 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jamar Chase 8 receptions, not 100, not 125, not 150, but 201 yards and 1 touchdown. He has the most receiving yards of any wide receiver through the first 7 games of a career. Ja'Marr Chase is balling out. So what say you fellas? The Bengals, no one said that the Bengals would be where they are right now. Atop of the division, looking like a real NFL team.
Top of the AFC. I mean, this is nuts.
Right.
Listen, I don't want to say atop of the AFC, even though standings say that. I think the Bills will mop them up real quick. But
that's right.
They are freaking good. They're good. They're playing well.
They're good.
I
went back and looked.
Win on Sunday?
I had the Bengals dead last in the division, and they definitely surprised me. I think they surprised everybody. But it starts with the quarterback, and I think for sure they have a franchise quarterback. The guy's poised. Love the confidence. You could tell he prepares his ass off. He knows what he's looking at. Ja'Marr Chase comes in the league. There is no rookie development. These guys just take off, right? And I think I can't remember a player that's come into the league through 7 weeks and had this kind of impact on a team outside of Ja'Marr Chase. I think RG3 comes to mind, but somebody like a receiver to come in like this and just make a huge impact on the team. It starts with Joe Burrow, obviously, but I mean, those guys are clicking and they're rolling.
Yeah.
And it's very surprising coming from a young head coach in Zach Taylor, who used to hold coffee for Sean McVay. I mean, outside of that, I'm not really sure what coaching experience he has, but they're definitely the biggest surprise of the year to this point.
Yeah, I think Chris Janke just put in the chat what I was going to mention here, and that is the biggest surprise for me is their offensive line. I think I trusted that Joe Burrow is the guy that everybody, talked about as one of the best quarterbacks ever to come into the NFL from college level. And he certainly has the talent, but the one thing I was worried about was his offensive line. Can they keep him upright? Look what happened last season. Mm-hmm. He got injured because he got hit, and then, he's done for the year, and there's no development, nothing he could do. And like you said, he's only, 7 games? I mean, right. A few games in after that, and now he's got his old college teammate, Ja'Marr Chase, who had a crappy preseason, and then all of a sudden has completely turned it around when the lights are on and the game starts. Sometimes you just need that. The chemistry gets going when the lights are on, and they've certainly been able to show that so far this year. And look at that division as well. Like you said, most of us predicted them to be last in the division. Why? Because they have no offensive line, and the teams in their division are good on defense, right? Oh, the Browns were supposed to be better on defense. The Steelers are way known for their defense more than their offense at this point. And the Ravens, always known for their defense, but they do have a good offense too. And yet we find that division in complete turmoil. First it was supposed to be, the Browns are going to win this division, but the Browns are dealing with injuries and can't live up to expectations. And even when they were healthy, they couldn't put a real stamp on a win where they were supposed to be favored by a lot of points or whatever. Now they're injured. Now they're struggling. You got a team like the Steelers who came out week 1 and was healthy and beat the Bills and now has looked like absolute crap like we all predicted they would this year. The Ravens, who last week were the best team in the AFC, and everybody's saying Lamar Jackson's going to win another MVP, and now they stomp them, and now the Bengals are the team. So the Bengals are the only team in that division that have been very consistent. They've been competitive in all their games. They've been impressive in all their games. They've been exceeding expectations in every game.
Right, and another rookie that doesn't get mentioned a lot, Logan Wilson out of Wyoming, starting at middle linebacker for the Bengals. I mean, second in the league behind Diggs in interceptions with 4, I believe. So he's having a huge impact on the team as well. It doesn't get mentioned as much.
Defense isn't as shiny, right? we see the stats by Ja'Marr Chase and the plays he's made. That certainly stands out.
2 impact rookies on that team for sure.
Yeah,
good draft for them.
Absolutely. And, going back to Ja'Marr Chase, what he's doing is just really cool. I mean, you got to consider where he came from in terms of where he was, just the scrutiny that he was taking in the preseason, saying that he wasn't used to seeing the stripes on the ball, and he was dropping passes left and right, whether it was a preseason training camp. He just didn't look like himself, but it wasn't the Ja'Marr Chase that we saw on the field at LSU, right? Yeah. It was the explosive, catch radius, just snatching balls at the catch point from defenders. I mean, and you're seeing that. I mean, he's unguardable. It seems like I watched the game back, and you saw the Ravens. Marlon Humphrey is one of the better corners in the league, and they were going one-on-one with Jamar Chase. They were throwing people at him, and Jamar Chase was just wrecking him. I mean, deep, short, intermediate. I mean, it was just.
And he's young. Right? It's scary. He's only going to get better. It's not unlike what we saw with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. All of a sudden, Joe Burrow, again, there's no denying his talent and ability. Everybody knew that Joe Burrow was legit. That's why he went number 1 overall. Now, you compare that to a guy like Josh Allen, who proved his talent was there. We always had disarm talent, never had a receiver. Gets Stephon Diggs last year, and what happens? Blows it out of the water. Same thing now with Joe Burrow. He's got a guy he already had chemistry with, who's coming out explosive in his first year, and now these two are going to be together long term. That's an amazing combination for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and I mentioned Logan Wilson. He's in his second year. He was drafted in 2020 in the Joe Burrow draft. So, I mean, they're building something special in Cincinnati, and I think it's people are starting to recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think this is one of those things that we've seen from the Bengals? Now, I know this is a new coaching regime, so it kind of doesn't count necessarily. But I think we've seen the Bengals start off like this. I'm interested to see. The hater in me wants to see if they're going to keep up this success, to be honest. I do like it, and I think it's cool. And I love the fact that, maybe the Bengals are taking the place of the Browns where we thought they were supposed to be. The Bengals appear to be what the Browns are supposed to be. The Browns, I mean, and we'll we've had our share talk about the Browns, but when they get healthy, but man, Baker is just rough right now. And injury aside, I mean, he just hasn't been playing well this year.
It's going to be interesting with the contract situation too.
Right? It's going to be interesting with the contract situation.
He's hurt.
Yes.
What do you do? You're going to pay him? Maybe not. You let him walk. Find another rookie.
I think you can give him maybe like a Kirk Cousins type deal, something like that. Shorter, 2-3 years, less money guaranteed.
Maybe, but you're still fronting it for a guy who's been injured the past 2 years.
I'm not paying Baker. I'm not paying.
I don't know.
What's the other options?
Well, you don't even need to ask me that question.
Yeah, we're not even going to get on Baker, but I'm not paying the cat.
Cleveland could trade for Tua.
That's a downgrade.
Why not?
No,
that's a downgrade.
If they're not going to keep
him out there,
if you're not going to keep him, could get Tua.
Or I'd rather just bring me Ryan Fitzpatrick for now until I can find a quarterback.
I think he's done, buddy.
I mean, give me
a guy right.
Give me somebody. But it's just not.
Cleveland's been giving them somebody since 1999.
Well, then you better trade Myles Garrett and
one thing that Baker has that other quarterbacks in Cleveland don't have. I think he does have the backing of the fan base.
Who cares?
That matters, right? That's half of it.
He's got commercials. That's all he's got. And that's all he's ever had. He's got overhyped and commercials. But we're not going to talk Baker, are we? So the Browns are in what place in that division right now when they were supposed to come in and win this division? Exactly. But the point is what Cincinnati now has to prove is, yes, we've beaten these teams. Look, we had a big signature win over a good team like the Ravens. But what happens when it rolls around to the healthy Cleveland Browns or, back to the Steelers if they're at full health? I'm not afraid of the Steelers. I think the Bengals can beat them even on their best day. But, the Browns, the Ravens, great. You got lucky, you beat them. Anybody can beat anybody. That's like saying if the Bills lose to New England, clearly an inferior team, that all of a sudden, New England's this hot. No, it just means they beat us that day. It's not a story yet. But you're right. The Bengals have a lot to prove. We'll see if they can do it. But they look awesome.
It's a long season.
If you're a Bengals fan, you got a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You got and Joe Mixon, he didn't even have the best game on Sunday. And I mean, he's just another weapon. CJ Uzoma, he looked phenomenal on Sunday. He's a big tight end. I was watching
what game was it where he had 2 touchdowns in one game, and I'm like, wow,
last week,
he usually gets 2 catches a year, and he got 2 touchdowns.
He got 2 touchdowns last week.
That's right. The nationally televised.
Uzoma, he's a big tight end, man. So look, they look the part. They look good, man. So kudos to the Bengals. And the next game, you already know where I'm going with this. We got the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs get pummeled by the Titans, 27-10. to 3. 1, 2, 3.
I like that you left that one.
3 points, man.
Yeah.
3.
Embarrassing.
Mahomes, 20 of 35, 206 yards, 1 interception. Derrick Henry had more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes. Derrick Henry had 29 carries, 86 yards, and a passing touchdown. A.J. Brown, 8 receptions, 133 yards. So, how about them Chiefs? How about them? Did they get the Patrick Price? Did the Chiefs get the Patrick Price?
Yeah, they did. $55 million a year.
The Patrick Price is 3.
Yeah.
3 fucking points.
$55 million.
I mean, listen, watching that game, you're like, I'm like, okay, I know what the Bills did to them, and they the Chiefs bounced back and they beat Washington football team. So I picked the Titans to beat the Chiefs, okay? Because they don't have a defense. But not only did the Chiefs not have a defense, they forgot their offense too.
Yeah.
They looked bad. They couldn't run the ball, and this vaunted offensive line that that they're supposed to have, they did not have a good game on Sunday. Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, I mean, they were applying pressure. Danico Autry, I mean, these guys were in Mahomes' face all game. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
See them lose again.
No, like you said, no touchdowns against Tennessee. Sterling, it was basically you and I playing cornerback out there, and they couldn't pass a touchdown. Are you kidding? They're like on their 8th string cornerback. And before the game, so I actually picked, this was one of my 5 for 5 picks, Tennessee getting 5.5 points. I thought that was crazy because I also picked Tennessee to win the game. I thought it'd be a close game. I didn't think it'd be like that, but Tennessee getting points I loved. And it just seemed nuts to me that no touchdowns. Somebody would have said, oh, what do you think the odds are of Kansas City scoring no touchdowns? I'd be like, listen, Tennessee has none of their cornerbacks right now. And this is a pass-first team. Of course they're going to score touchdowns. They're still going to lose the game because they have no defense, like you said. But no and this is a team who we know went wire to wire with the Bills. And the Bills beat Kansas City, obviously. But this team pummeled them. It's great. It's great to see. You hate to see it because we said it on this show first. Kansas City Chiefs are not making the playoffs. Let that sink in for a second.
Jackson,
most people had them with the most wins in the NFL. They basically have no chance. They're below everybody at this point.
You could have put Jackson
Mahomes
in that quarterback for the Chiefs on Sunday, and he probably would have thrown a touchdown pass, dog.
Let's not get carried away.
And yet another interception.
I don't know how his
Eric is back, y'all. Eric is back.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes, more interceptions.
Serious, guys.
Look, I'm not surprised that Kansas City's defense is terrible, but I mean, what is going on with their offense? They're just not on the same page. Failure to evolve, maybe. I mean, really, like, the key is rush 4 guys and drop 2 deep safeties. Like, that's it. You know how good Kansas City was like 2 years ago, even just last year?
They don't have Sammy Watkins.
That's it. You just got to rush 4 and drop 2.
Their offensive line had a terrible game on Sunday. It was a perfect storm for the Chiefs.
Yes.
They just did not play well.
I think there's more to the story is my point.
There is. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, saying he didn't play well is an understatement, but it's like he's pressing too much. It's funny because you know how, and let me bring this back home to the Bills. You know how the narratives, people will say, well, one of the things that as Bills fans will say, or national media will say, Josh Allen he just does too much. He just tries to do too much. Well, last year the Bills didn't have a great defense, and you saw Josh Allen having to pull magic out of a hat to keep the Bills in games last year. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes is having to do the same thing, and sometimes you're just not going to be able to be on your A game. You got Travis Kelce, best tight end in the game. Tyreek Hill, arguably the best wide receiver in the game, and teams are just shutting them down. And I will say this, you can go all the way back to week 5 last year when the Bills played the Titans. I mean, the Bills played the Kansas City Chiefs, and they kind of gave you a blueprint on what to do, even though the Chiefs ran for 200 some odd yards on them last year. But
They
it
could
was
best.
the formations that they used to try to stymie the passing game. They were successful in the pass game, but they gave up a ton in the run. And you're seeing teams in the absence of Sammy Watkins. I think Sammy Watkins did a lot for Kansas City in terms of opening up that field. They just don't have it right now. And I'm not going to sit here and say teams are catching up, but I think it's a lot of factors. One, is the coaching staff, are they evolving? Is Andy Reid evolving? Does Patrick Mahomes believe in his ability too much? I don't know. I mean, those are things that you have to.
I will say
think about.
That division took a very big step forward this season, right? The Chargers, they were so close last year on everything. They got a new coach. They got it together. They're a way more competitive team. Second season with Herbert, who looks like a franchise guy who's going to carry that team. The Broncos, they're healthy. They started the season hot. They are significantly better than last year. Definitely more competitive. The Raiders are, playing very well this season. Granted, now they've got the turmoil, but they've still been playing well as a team on the field. They need to find their consistency, but they're competitive. They can beat you. It's not like the Bills situation, right? You can't say that about New England, the Jets, and now even the Dolphins. Maybe in the preseason, people were hyping the Dolphins, saying, "Oh, they're going to be competitive." Look at them now; they got one win. For God's sake, it's terrible, right? So the Bills division is not competitive. Kansas City, on the other hand, now they've got a very competitive division. It's not being handed to them like it was the last 2-3 years, where you knew they were going to have 6 wins in the division, and that's that, right? Nobody even predicted otherwise.
Right.
I mean, well, let's look at the situation now. This is crazy to think the Buffalo Bills are more likely to play the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game than they are the Kansas City Chiefs. That, if you would have said that,
I wouldn't go that far.
A bazillion to no, that's a fact right now. That's a fact. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Bazillion to one odds. Nobody would have taken that in the preseason, and yet here we are. Okay, that's the real life scenario we're in right now.
At the underdog sometimes,
and the Chiefs, what is going to change for them? That's the problem they have moving forward. What is going to change? You're not suddenly going to get it together and say, "Oh, now we can beat the Chargers of the world," or "Now we can step up to play the Titans or the Bills." No, it doesn't get any easier for you. It's not like, granted, Pat Mahomes did have an injury in the fourth quarter, so sure, he can get healthy, but it's not like he hasn't been healthy the last few games. He hasn't.
I got it right here. Teams the Chiefs have lost to: the Ravens, Chargers, Bills, Titans. The next 4 teams on the Chiefs' schedule: Giants, Packers, Raiders, Cowboys.
Don't count the Giants out.
I can see
the Giants are playing very well now that they're healthy.
That's a Monday night game.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Coming up this week.
I'm picking the Giants.
I can see 2 losses there. I'm not picking the Giants against the Chiefs. No.
Yes.
No. Giants are trash.
No.
These are the type. So my brother's a Giants fans. These are the types of games the Giants win.
Packers,
they'll still finish with a bad record, but
right. And the Chiefs have 2 wins. Both wins came against the NFC East, Eagles and Washington.
Mm-hmm. Both not good teams.
So
I'm not going with the Giants.
They're getting beat by good teams. That's fair to say.
Cowboys gonna beat. They're gonna beat them. When I tell you they're gonna beat them, they're gonna smoke them. They're too good. And I think that the Packers are gonna get in them.
The Giants are gonna beat them this week. I'm telling you.
How much money you want to bet on that?
I'll bet you whatever you want.
Are you serious?
The Giants are going to be. What do the Giants do best? Pass game.
Nothing.
What can't the Chiefs defend?
The
Giants won this last week. Did you not watch the games?
Yeah, they put it together last week, but I gave up on them on the other 6
Yes, because they're healthy. They've had everybody injured. Now they're getting healthier. They're getting their guys back, and they're playing better. And the Giants, over the last 10 years, these are the types of games the Giants win when they're not supposed to, and they lose when they're supposed to win. This is a classic game.
This is me watching the Giants.
The Giants are going to win.
This is me. That's me right there.
It's Monday night, but
yeah, I'll take that bet. It's in Kansas City, Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Listen,
the Chiefs suck. Get that through your heads.
No, the Giants are. Oh no, God, no! I can't do it. Moving on. We're moving on, guys. Oh my God. Okay.
Hey.
Power rankings through 8 weeks. Okay, so you're a number. So listen, the power rankings to me are a lot of fun. Okay, it's fun to speculate who you think the best team is in the league, right? So if I were to, my teams, I would say at number 5, I'd probably go I'd probably say I would go Tennessee Titans right now.
Can we preface this with like we always usually do, right?
We're not talking
about best 5 teams in the NFL, not like, oh, we're putting Cincinnati in because they have a good record, because nobody's putting Cincinnati above Buffalo.
Cincinnati,
even though Cincinnati has the best record right now, right? Like nobody's putting them.
No. This is just what I think.
Okay, yeah, right. 5 best teams in the NFL, though.
I would say that Tennessee Titans is probably the 5th best team. I would say Green Bay is at number 4.
Tennessee lost to the Jets, by the way.
Yeah,
and the Bills lost to the
it's.
They
you
see what I'm saying?
somewhat respectable. Losing to the Jets is not respectable right now.
The Steelers are trash, but anyway, you get what I'm saying, though. You get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm,
okay. At number 3, I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. And at number 1, my number 1 and number 2 teams don't change from last week. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably those are the teams that in my opinion, are playing the best right now. You guys have any issues with that?
No Cardinals in there?
The Cardinals haven't beaten anybody for me yet.
And for me, I'm not.
I gotta see it.
I did not predict the Cardinals to win the division or to finish that well. So I mean, I don't know that the Cardinals can hold on to it for the season. We'll see if they can. So I like your 5. I definitely think there's no disputing at this point Tampa Bay at number 1. They're playing the best football. They've been blowing out opponents. They're the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I'd go Bucks number 1 for sure.
But that's great because we're going to play them down the line, and I can't wait for that game. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Maybe I'm a Cardinals hater. I just don't think, man, play somebody. Play somebody.
Did they beat the Rams? That's a big win.
Yeah, that's
divisional.
Divisional. So
and Seattle fell off this year. San Francisco.
Yeah,
fell
so
off.
I just need to see beat somebody, and I'll give them the respect that they deserve. Right, but now
they're playing well. They're playing well.
Last week.
They are playing good. They played the Houston Texans last week.
Yeah, they beat the spread too. That's the spread also I picked like 17.5, and I was like, they're gonna blow that out of the water.
Let me tell you
Texans
what makes
are not an
Tennessee
NFL
dangerous.
team.
They play the most physical brand of football of any team in the NFL right now. Now, the way they win is not necessarily sustainable, right? But with a healthy Julio Jones and a healthy A.J. Brown, with Derrick Henry playing the hit that way, they are tough to beat. They just wear you down. You got 2 receivers on the outside who are yards after catch guys that break tackles. And then you don't. Not only that, you got Derrick Henry in the backfield, man. Like that to me, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's huge.
Who usually
only is trash. Can we get Tannehill trash?
Who usually only gets better.
Usually
only gets better as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
Talking about a Henry, which is nuts. The guy has 1,000 carries a year and somehow gets better, stronger as the season goes on.
And I feel
usually he saves his best.
The problem I have with Tennessee, though, is you just don't know what you're going to get with them. It's ever since Mike Vrabel's been there, they go through these hot streaks, but then they get cold.
Up and down.
And I just don't like that. I don't think they're in my top 5 right now.
And I agree.
Just outside top 5.
You play who's on your schedule. You play with who's on your schedule. But just like last year, when people were saying, oh, the Bills are good, but they haven't played anybody, I'm going to give everybody a taste their own damn medicine with the Cardinals, man. Like, show me. Just show me. Give me a signature win, and I'll believe. But right now,
a big game Thursday night, Green Bay, right?
That's their test right there.
Duke it out. Although I'm not high on Green Bay really either. They've not been as competitive in games.
It's not about the wins. It's not just about a win-loss record. It's what you're doing. Watching the film, what are you doing? That to me, how you do it, right? That to me means more than what your win-loss record is, because you can only play who's on your schedule, right? So if you go out and you beat the Packers, I'll give you the respect. I mean, Kyler Murray's playing well this year. He's playing well. I want to see more. I want to see this defense really get tested. This is what I really want to see. That's what I want to see. So,
and I look for balance on teams. Can they do everything? Like Green Bay is one of those teams. Tampa Bay is one of those teams. Like they can come up with any game plan and beat you. I think those are always in the top of my lists when I'm looking for power
Hold on,
rankings,
hold
or a team that can just dominate you with one thing, like Kansas City has been in years past.
I don't think Eric knows me. I don't think he knows me. I don't think he knows me. He says Green Bay with no Devontae Adams, you'll downplay the win because of COVID. Y'all know I don't downplay shit. I call it like I see it. It is what it is. I mean, obviously, that's like beating the Bulls without Michael Jordan, but those things do matter. But again, it's like I said, back to what I was saying, it's how you do it, right? So if you barely squeak by the Packers with no Devontae Adams, then I'm going to talk my shit because you barely beat them. But if you go and you steamroll them, then I ain't got nothing to say. I'm going to give you your due. That's it. So
yeah,
it's interesting. These are just my top 5. Everybody has what they think the best teams are in the league are. These are just my top 5, and it's for debate. So I have fun with it, you know. You guys ready for our next segment?
Let's go, baby. Where we at?
Inside Slant. We're gonna talk all Bills right now. We're gonna talk the Bills' latest news. You know, even though they didn't have a game, we're gonna get into this thing here. I don't know. Look, I guess we're gonna talk about awards for the team since we didn't have a game last week. And it's always good to kind of make an assessment of where you think this team is and where you want them to be, right? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, even though we're not at the midpoint of the season, we're almost there. And so every year we do this, and it's just cool to last year, you know, we saw the Bills offense and Josh Allen just come out the gate swinging, right? All year long, we just hoped and prayed for the defense to just kind of be middle of the pack, and they weren't. The pass defense was and no pass rush. I mean, the defense never really caught up to what the offense was doing. And this year, the offense is starting off slower than last year, but they're starting to get their stride. And the defense had an off game last week. And so, you know, it's a give and take thing. And you look at some of the individual players from the offseason where you think, okay, you know, players like Dawson Knox, like we want him to have a big year. What impact was Emmanuel Sanders going to have? Is that Oliver going to take the next step? And so forth. We can go on and on and talk about this, right? And so I wanted to talk to you guys tonight and see, you know, where you guys are in the whole thing, right? What you guys are thinking. Now, I did a show with ProAnt_ last week about some of these topics. And so I want to get you guys' opinions on this. So first one, who is your most improved player? Now that could be on offense, defense, special teams. Now in the chat, please give me your most improved player. I would love to hear who you guys think is your most improved. So Anthony, I'm going to start with you here. Your most improved player. Then Eric, we're going to follow up to you. They could be the same if you want them to be. We can debate who, and let's hear it.
Most improved, you know, my immediate attention goes to the obvious choice here, Dawson Knox, right? I mean, Bills, we don't use tight ends. We don't care about tight ends. We have mediocre tight ends. Nobody cares. But what happened this season is now we're seeing Dawson Knox do exactly what we want Dawson Knox to do. He doesn't need to have 10 catches a game. He has 3 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. That's a freaking awesome stat line every single week, and he was doing it week in and week out. He had the 2-point conversion pass before with a broken hand and the middle finger in that game. And now it's unfortunate that he's injured and going to miss some time, at least a few weeks here, and it's going to change the tight end position for the Bills. But this was a position where expectation was low. Some people said he needs to take that leap. He needs to improve. Some people predicted it. Joe Marino preached that Knox is going to have a big season, and he was right up until this point. So for me, it's got to be Knox because of the way he's playing. First of all, he's broken the narratives. Take the touchdowns away. Touchdowns are sometimes, you know, luck of the draw type things. Who gets the ball in that situation? Take the touchdowns away. It's his efficiency of catching the ball. Right? That was his number one knock 2 years ago. Oh, he can't catch. Oh, dropsies. And now it's a completely false narrative. Dude catches everything that's thrown his way. So, I mean, that's an awesome change of pace and completely blowing away the expectations. So between
Okay.
the expectations of the tight end position, which were very low for the Buffalo Bills, the expectations of Knox himself, well, can he consistently catch passes? How much is he really going to get in this offense? And the consistency of he gets in the end zone every week at this point. Granted, the injury is going to change things there, obviously, but for me, it's got to be Knox this year.
Dawson Knox. Okay. We got some in the chat that agree with you on the Dawson Knox. Eric, who you got?
I think I'll go Tremaine Edmonds here. You can just tell, the maturity. I think it's starting to click for him. I mean, he's being more reactive and making solid decisions. I think his tackling's been better along with that decision making, and it really shows up on film. What was that? Another thing I think is, the plays are starting to happen for him, right? Got an interception this year. You've seen him. I think he had a forced fumble. I mean, the things are starting to click for him, and I think it's only going to get better. But I just think he's finally picked up this defense. He knows, and he knows how to work within the defense without thinking, right? And that took a little more time for him than others, it seemed like. But it really does jump off when you watch him this year compared to last year.
I agree with you both. I think both those players have played extremely well. Dawson Knox probably, I would say, catches my eye the most just because Edmonds was more in a position where he's a little bit more of an established talent, considering that he's been to 2 Pro Bowls. He's a really good player. Knox hadn't even reached that point yet, right? This is the 3rd year for him, and it sucks that he broke his hand, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully, he's not going to be out too long, but you see Josh Allen getting real comfortable with him. He's not dropping passes. He's running really good routes, creating separation at the top of the stem, which is really great. His blocking has improved. I mean, he's looking the part. So those are some really good guys to lean on there.
The chat is bringing up Epinesa as well, and I think that's a good.
That's true. That's
honorable mention here. I mean, he's only in his 2nd year, so he's always expected to be improving at this point, but he's exceeded those expectations so far this season, I think. Unfortunately, he also got injured, and this is a good point here by Luke that, man, we really could have used him if he was available in that game. It's been noticeable when he's not been available. The defensive line isn't as potent or productive when he's not been available. Granted, that could be matchups and a lot of other things, but Epinesa certainly has made his presence felt, even though that D-line, as we know, rotates snaps and doesn't often, see the field more than 50% of the snaps. But yeah, Epinesa, I think Levi Wallace, another one where it depends on where your expectations were. Most would have called Levi Wallace the weakest spot on this roster in terms of starting position. He's played up to it. Right?
No,
Taron Johnson exceeds expectations, right? Maybe not quite as much as Levi Wallace or the other guys we talked about, but notable names to mention.
Right. I was going to mention the running backs as well. Looking more comfortable in the offense. I mean,
I wouldn't say most improved.
I don't know about most
Still
improved,
dropping
but Zach Moss in particular has made a jump. I think that's clear.
A step, but they are not.
Right. We talk improved. I mean, a lot of these guys.
They're still not starting caliber backs, so that's
the thing. Are. Come on.
Who had the lowest platform, and then where they are now?
They're not.
It's still a terrible narrative to this day.
They're not good. Dude, stop.
They're not starting caliber backs.
They are average. They are average to below
average starting backs. Yes, they're not below caliber backs.
Bro, okay. We're going to disagree on that, but that's okay. GP says, I just broke my hand in solidarity. Well, you should use more lotion. Next one. Who hasn't lived up to expectations, in your opinion? This one is highly debatable. When you think about expectations. This could be a few guys, even though the Bills are off to a 4-2 record. And Anthony, you got one, huh?
Keep giving him
one, and no, this is one and only one.
He's
and
I don't
know it's the name that you guys think it's going to be. There's one and only one who has been responsible.
One and only one.
Deion Dawkins. You come up in here as this vaunted left tackle who just got paid on this team. You are the anchor on that offensive line, and you have not lived up to expectation. The offensive line at the guard position, so obviously all of us are going to say offensive line because, I mean, that's definitely the answer here. But the guards, we knew all off season, all last year, we talked about the guards need to improve. Our guards aren't great. The guards aren't great. But the offense was supposed to revolve around Deion Dawkins. What happened in the every few games, every game this year, you can look at the highlights, look at the thing, say, what happened there on this couple of plays with Dawkins? Dawkins disappeared. Dawkins, granted, he had COVID and he almost freaking was in the hospital and got really sick, lost a ton of weight. He's still playing his way back. I hope he comes back strong after the bye week. But honestly, if you're talking about who's not met expectations, who's been the most disappointing, it is 100% Deion Dawkins for me because he was supposed to be a star on this team, and right now he's below average.
But he will
And
always be protected by Cody Ford.
Hold on.
Exactly. That's the problem. The guards suck. We know that, but he is supposed to be the best. He's
Most disappointing.
Hold on.
Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, and now you're playing below average.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we got to read a super chat here. RC3 says, I would say group, but watching film and O-lines have had their hands wrapped in his jersey every game. It's irritating how his production is being diminished. And he's not talking about like most disappointing.
No, that was,
he's talking about the one before most improved. He's a rookie, so I wouldn't necessarily say he's improved, being that he's a rookie.
Yeah.
However, Groot should. I mean, he didn't have a good game against Tennessee. That's probably his worst game thus far. But he's a rookie, and you're going to see dips in production, right? But yeah, there's times where I can count even in the Dolphins game. He should have had 4 sacks. He came away with 2. He should have had 4. Kansas City, he made some plays. I mean, you're going to see these guys go up and down, but. Yeah, Groot has been a surprise, because he was a guy that a lot of people thought he wouldn't produce in his first year. People thought that Carlos Basham would outproduce him, and if you listen to the Hoof, I told you no. I've been telling you no. So,
right.
But I appreciate that though. Groot, I love watching him. He's one of I think he's my outside of Josh Allen. He's my favorite Buffalo Bill. Watching him is a lot of fun. Yeah, Eric, the offensive line has been very average. It's rough, man. It's rough. Nick Terry says Dolphins have been pee poo poo doo doo this season.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, and you're getting run over by guys.
Feliciano has struggled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carmen comes in here and says Mongo gets beat on every pass attempt.
It's bad.
Why says our most disappointing is our O-line coach. So I think the fans have spoken. I think the most disappointing is our offensive line.
Yeah.
I would say the guard position, and particularly left guard. I would say Mongo. He ain't it.
Right, he got re-signed, so expectations come with that, right?
But that's my point. Is Sterling
Cody
said
Ford.
that? Sterling said that when they signed Feliciano on the show. He ain't it, and most of us agreed he's average. They like him for other reasons. He's best friends with Josh Allen.
Yeah, and he brings such an anger. He is like,
but he sucks. It's the fucking line. And now
he sucks.
It's without a doubt the weakest position on the team right now.
Oh my God, Jason Taylor, bro. That's hilarious. That's funny. Oh, John DeMarchi is back in the house, man.
John, what's up, man?
He says, here's the good news. Josh Diggs, Spencer Brown, Dawkins, Knox, Gabriel Davis, Moss, DS26, Grew, Oliver, AJ Bassam, Edmonds, Milano, Trey White, the whole damn team. Best ball ahead of all these young guys. Absolutely. That is the positive. That is good news that Brandon Beane has assembled a really good roster. So we definitely
there's not room for everybody.
There's not room for everybody, and it's fun to see. But when there's misses and swings and misses, like Feliciano,
Cody Ford,
like re-signing defensive tackle Vernon Butler,
who's inactive,
buddy. That kind of stuff is rough. It's rough. So we're gonna point it out. Jerry Hughes has not been good either. And I know everybody's like,
he's been pretty good.
I disagree with you there.
Yeah,
Jerry Hughes, listen, dude. when you look at salary and you look at a pressure is not a sack. Pressures are good. They're good, but I want to see him
that D line.
You don't think the Bills have enough leaders in that locker room? See, this is the thing that people hold on. This is the thing that people justified with Mongo. Well, he's a leader on the offensive line.
No, but you're diminishing his actual play with pressures and getting to the quarterback.
Is a shell of the player that he
But
once
you're diminishing what he's actually doing on the field, which is doing pretty well.
What is Jerry Hughes doing?
He's got 18 pressures so far this season.
Great. Yeah. How many sacks does he has?
You know what happens when he gets sacks though? 15-yard penalties.
Yeah, that's true. They always throw him flag on it.
Who's fucking fault is that?
He's still not. He's the oldest guy in line, and he's still getting 15 pressures more than anybody else on the team.
Listen, he's like the sacred cow nobody wants to touch on. Nobody wants to say that
he's the only guy who gets pressures.
His best years are behind him.
Well, everybody knew that.
No. You're not gonna let me finish. He ain't the same player that he once was, and he's not that effective. When you look at his run fits are not that good. I'm sorry. Jerry Hughes is not all that.
Pass rusher. He's not really good at
that. So stopping the run is not important.
No, but he does that. It's not like he's bad at it. It's terrible at it. It's not like he whiffs every run.
Sacred cow. Cow.
It's just that I just disagree with your analysis there completely.
He's explosive. But what is he do? Like, what is he producing? He still has a good first step, but he doesn't impact the game as much. He just doesn't. I'm sorry. He does not. He doesn't.
Yeah,
Shoot
but who
me.
does? I mean,
that's a problem.
The offensive line as a whole is better than last year, correct? You agree?
No. I'm talking Jerry Hughes by himself.
I got it. But he's a big part of that. You know, he does his role, right? It's not like he's never been a guy who disrupts the whole game. He's just always been a consistent.
Nobody came out week one and said, "Watch out for somebody else on the D line other than Jerry Hughes."
Whew. Okay.
Still the first name that comes up for when you're planning for the Bills' defensive line.
Look, I just expect more.
Jerry Hughes.
I expect more from him. I expected with Star being back, I expected Jerry Hughes to show up a little bit more on the stat sheet in terms of sacks, right? Ed Oliver, hit or miss.
Yeah, I could have used a little more sacks on Ryan Tannehill.
I just feel I'm not saying Jerry Hughes is bad.
I think that's a legit.
But for what we're paying him, I would like to see more production. I'm not saying he's bad. I do think that I would love to see him improve in pass rush and run situations, stopping the run, containing the edge. I didn't think he did a good job of containing the edge against Tennessee. Gregory Rousseau didn't do a good job as well, containing the edge.
Nope.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying I expected a little more from him. That's it. Jerry should have more sacks. That's all.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I would like to see
I can agree with that of all that, but saying he is,
but he's a sacred cow. Nobody wants to talk about
expectations. I don't know. He's not in that conversation yet.
Can we talk about Cole Beasley? I think he's somebody who hasn't lived up to expectations going into the season. Right, coming off the career high. Josh Allen and Cole Beasley had the chemistry. I thought for sure they would just pick up where they left off, but Emmanuel Sanders cut into his production way more than I thought. And Beasley's had some key drops this season too.
Well, I wouldn't put it so much on Beasley because Beasley's had two huge games this season too, where he caught a bunch of passes. He caught his most passes ever in a game for the most yards in a game this season as well. It's just a matter of now there's other weapons. And yes, he had that chemistry with Sanders. Yes, Stephon Diggs is still on this team. I would switch that around and say, Gabriel Davis, where are you? Who are you? Are you still on this team? How many catches he got this year? Exactly. But this is what we talked about on this show before. When you add a guy at the number 2 position who's a caliber catcher, and now you don't need Gabriel Davis in that position, then that kind of diminishes his value and where he's going to get snaps and play time. And the few plays he has gotten, he hasn't stepped up and made plays. He's run bad routes or tipped the ball. You know, he has not looked good this season, Gabriel Davis. So I would put it on him. I wouldn't say it's more of a decision that Josh Allen isn't going to be.
But he is somebody who had a lot of expectations who maybe didn't meet those.
I think those are fan expectations, though. Those are fan expectations. I think Beasley's doing his job. I think that when you throw in Emmanuel Sanders, the emergence of Dawson Knox, it's one of those things. Who has the hot hand for the week? Kind of like what we see in the running back room. Sometimes it's it's Singletary, it's Moss, or it's Allen running the ball. it's the same thing with the wide receivers. Diggs is having this a statistical year, like people are like last year, right? So Beasley's doing his job. He's fine. John comes back and says, guys, Bills cannot run versus light box except behind my guy 79. So knocks out. Moss running back and play 10 and get Gabe Davis on the field. So I do think that Gabe Davis will see an uptick in snaps and production now that Dawson Knox is out. Sweeney, you're going to see Sweeney fill that tight end role. But I think when you see the Bills going 10 personnel, which is 1 running back, 0 tight ends, you're going to see I think you're going to see Gabriel Davis in that slot position close to the line. He's going to be running some of the routes that Dawson Knox would typically run in those formations. Or if you go 11 personnel, we're going to see more Gabriel Davis moving forward until Knox gets healthy. Gabriel Davis is another one of those guys where I just felt like, man, I would love to see, when we talk about fan expectations, I wanted to see more of Gabriel Davis. It was a lot of talk about maybe he would be one of those guys that could take over the number 2 wide receiver role, but maybe Brandon Beane and those guys knew that he wasn't it, and they brought in Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, Gabriel Davis he's a guy that he's a taller wide receiver. He's great catch radius. He can catch the ball down the field, but when it's short yards, route running, and those separation kind of things, I think he doesn't excel in those. Whereas Emmanuel Sanders can get you the ball, he can get the ball and create separation at all 3 levels. So the Bills are going to need wide receiver help this coming off season. Emmanuel Sanders probably won't be on the team. Cole Beasley, I think you could save like $6 million if you get rid of Cole Beasley. I'm not saying you do, but I just think they're going to have an answer for Josh Allen. They're going to need to continue to put weapons around him. So. But those are very good guys, and to you guys, the fans, I appreciate in the chat here. I appreciate can Moss play left guard? That's hilarious.
Great comment. Right?
we know Cody Ford can't. So
yeah.
All right, so moving on here. So we got let's see. MVP not named Josh Allen. Real quick, who you got?
Eric, you first. I don't want to steal your guy. I have a feeling I will.
Yeah. I got to go one of the safeties, probably Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde just been doing it all this year. He's getting the turnovers, making impacts on games, and he's tackling Derrick Henry one-on-one. Give it to him.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the safeties as well, but the other guy I was thinking of, Tremaine Edmonds, for the reasons you talked about earlier, stepping his game up, being that leader on the defense, knowing where to be, and just his speed on the field this year. Even the announcers in one of the games had to point it out, like, man, this guy can chase down a running back anywhere on the field, and he really does, and it's flashing this year. So I would also say Edmonds is one of the guys I'd put in the conversation. But Hyde is an excellent choice.
Yeah, no, Jordan Poyer, man.
Poyer as well.
Jordan Poyer's been balling out. I think, I think another underrated guy, Mitch Morse has been playing really well on the offensive line. And you got to think about it like this. To his left, he has Feliciano, who is not – he ain't it. To his right, you have a guy who plays guard that should be playing right tackle, but he's been suffering at right tackle, so they moved him to guard. I mean, Darrell Williams kind of came back to reality versus what he was last year. And so that's why you see Spencer Brown at right tackle. Now, Spencer Brown has been showing you flashes. So I think Mitch Morse is not getting enough credit for what he's doing at the center position. Matt Milano is a guy that I would throw out there. Matt Milano, outside of the Tennessee game, he's been playing phenomenal football. Yeah. And probably the Bills' most valuable defensive player thus far. And I think, like you guys said, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer has something to say about that. But Taron Johnson's another guy. I mean, Taron Johnson has been every bit of a freaking shutdown slot corner. He's just a dog. He fills gaps and run support. In pass coverage, he's there. I mean, this team is filled with guys that are playing really well. So Star Latulele outside of Monday, Star has been playing really well. Yeah. So
2 games that I said, wow, I'm happy to have Star on this team, or wow, that's the guy I want on my team. After years of saying, why is this guy on the team? So yeah, he's definitely stepped up this season.
No, it's fun. Hard to call a slot corner an MVP. Well, when you run a nickel defense and your slot corner is on the field,
he's a starter.
He's just as important as a Trey White, Levi Wallace. I mean, I'm not going to diminish. That's why the Bills paid him what they did. He's a good player.
And he's asked to do a lot, right? Like Matt Milano, they're asked to do a lot.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Nameless position. What's the position? It's Taron Johnson. It's not really nickel corner or whatever you want to call it, third cornerback on the field. He is Taron Johnson on the field. He goes everywhere. He's in coverage. He's everywhere.
He's playing really well, man. He's playing really well. Surprise player, I'm going to say Spencer Brown. I didn't think that he would be starting. I mean, from an athletic standpoint, he's one of the most athletically gifted offensive linemen in the league. I mean, his RAS score was a complete 10. I mean, this guy fills the boxes athletically, and you see it, on the field. He's putting it all together from a mental aspect, man. This guy's only going to get better. I think the Bills have found their right tackle for the next 10 years, man. He's barring injuries and so forth. Spencer Brown's looking the part. He had a terrible game against Tennessee. A lot of these guys didn't have great games against Tennessee. He's a rookie. They're going to be up and down. But Spencer Brown will, it's going to be fun. He's going to be fun to keep an eye on. Watch out for him this Sunday. It's going to be
his intensity on the field is a breath of fresh air for the Bills. I mean, he's intense every play. I love it. He's like shoving guys down. He's staring them down. You can see he's trash talking on the field, and he's up there. He's towering over these guys because he's such a huge guy. And for somebody like that to stand out on a football field where it's all huge guys, and he's literally calling them tiny and small on the field, pointing at him, being like, "You're a little guy."
Yeah. What's unique about Spencer Brown, I think, is he's an athlete as well. 6'8", 290 pounds, and he's athletic.
10.
Outside of Josh Allen, he's got to be one of the most athletic guys on the offense.
Overall, right? Probably do.
At that size.
Definitely. Yeah.
He's looking pretty good, man.
I wouldn't call it a surprise for me because I've been on the train since day one I loved him in Denver and I couldn't wait. I wanted him to be a Buffalo Bill a long time sooner, and that's Emmanuel Sanders. Because it was a lot of talk about what will Emmanuel Sanders be? Can he replace John Brown? And now all of a sudden he is another reliable target guy for Josh Allen, who's been backing it up now that he found that chemistry. Bam, bam, bam. Every game now Emmanuel Sanders is going to see some action.
I got 2.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Real quick, Tyler Bass.
Tyler Bass.
We haven't talked about him at all.
Yes,
and that's a good thing.
He's not a rookie anymore, Eric. You can jump on board now. Even though we told you all last year. I told you specifically all last year this guy is legit. He's going to win the job over Hopkins. You're like, no way. I'm like,
Anthony knows the future of all kickers.
You don't get to say No, Anthony bust his ass.
That's right. Anthony. Yeah, I told you every kick he made, and then all of a sudden he missed one. You're like, he missed one. He sucks. I'm like, get out of here. This guy is going to be the kicker.
If we had a video montage of Eric talking shit about rookies,
young kickers don't bode well in the NFL normally, right? But Tyler Bass has really impressed. And
what'd you say?
We don't have to do this, Sterling. We've said this 100 times. But it's just been surprising that he looks like a pro in his second
He's good.
Year.
He's really good.
He's got to be one of the top 10.
He's really good.
Like you said, it's not talking about him. That's how you know.
We're not talking about him.
When he kicks, I'm not worried at all.
Exactly. He's definitely one of the guys you can trust on the team.
He's one of the best
second guy
in the league, man.
Isaiah McKenzie, I think, has been a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
You're really, really concerned about his fumbling. I mean, look, early on in your NFL career, sure, you're going to have your fumbles, but I mean, we were in year 6, year 7 with Isaiah McKenzie. He's still having fumbling issues, but I think he came in this year. He had one fumble, I believe,
in the rain game.
In the rain, but I mean, he's looked the part as a kick returner, punt returner, and he's done a phenomenal job. The Bills are number 1 in average starting field position. That has to do with their turnovers, but he's definitely a part of that as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, playing really, really well. Really, really well. Okay, so
trade Cody Ford. Yes, please. For a 6th, I'll take whatever you got for him. A bag of beans, please. Take Cody Ford. He's useless on this roster now, and we could really use a offensive lineman, but I doubt anybody's going to give us one for Ford. But, Vernon Butler, take him too. I don't care, There are some trades. I'm surprised every year we talk about this around the Bills, like who are they going to trade for, what they're going to do. And they don't do anything usually. So we'll see what happens. But when is the trade deadline? Next weekend?
November 2nd.
Yeah, that's right. So next week.
So that would be
Showtime next week. That's Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So NFL trade deadline show. You will be here with the Hoof guys. You'll be here with us. So hopefully the Bills will make a trade. Nobody wants
that
trash.
Magic thing?
I don't know what trash is.
Trash. Cody Ford.
That's Ford. Okay, cool.
Vernon Butler.
So we'll see. I have wild suspicions what the Bills could do on the trade deadline. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think this is a roster that could use a guy, whether offense or defensively. I say if you can get a corner, call Denver up. See if you can get Kyle Fuller. See if you can get a defensive tackle somewhere. A
lot of rumors I've seen about the Giants.
Akeem Hicks. Call Akeem. Call the Bears to see if you can get Akeem Hicks. Man, he would. Oh my God, you talk about stopping the run. Akeem. Oh my God, he'll be awesome in his defense. Trade Cody Ford for a 12-pack of wings. You're not going to get much. A 6th, 7th round pick that you can maybe get a draft.
Yeah, Cody Ford is still young. Somebody can. Teams always need offensive line, and again, he's useless on this team. It's time for him to move on.
But Kyle Fuller would be great. Just depth at the cornerback position.
Kyle Fuller, that'd be nice.
That would be dope. Offensively, I would be okay with the Bills going out and getting the Evan Ingram. Go get a running back.
That's a big name.
Get a running back. See, call somebody for a running back. Impact running back. Get rid of Breida. I go.
I'm not even using them. So
yeah, give me a good running back that you have to pay attention to. The Bills, teams are light boxes, and they're still not. And that's why I like busting you guys' chops earlier in the show, is because these guys are going, and especially in the red zone, they're seeing a lot of light boxes. These teams are playing, coverage. They're not respecting the Bills running backs, and we say, oh, the Bills running backs are looking better, but when you put the scope on what's actually happening, is because they're seeing light boxes, but they're still not. I don't think they're taking advantage of the light boxes. You could say, well, the offensive line isn't playing that well, but man, when it comes to making a guy miss or lowering your shoulder, I give Zach Moss that. It's not consistent enough, man. And Christian McCaffrey's always freaking injured, but he's a great player. If you could put Christian McCaffrey in this offense,
that would be nice.
And he wouldn't have to carry the load all the time.
Sky with his contract.
It wouldn't happen. Zeke not happen, but Zeke would be a great guy to have in here. I don't know what they could do in terms of running back. Hell, the Bengals go get Joe Mixon or somebody. Can you make it work? I don't know what his contract is. Probably not going to happen.
What specifically are the running backs not doing up to your standards?
That's what I don't understand. I don't understand.
Because
they don't.
The bigger issue is at guard.
Catching. They don't catch the ball very well, but
they're not.
They need to get a push up front to push.
You
those
have to
back.
have a guy back there that defenses have to pay attention to. They do not respect Singletary. They do not respect Moss. When you are facing light boxes,
they respect Josh Allen.
Yeah.
As a runner,
they respect the whole.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
That's just the way the system is. I don't like it either.
Nah.
It is though. Josh Allen's the running back.
I know the Bills. Okay.
Zach Moss.
I know that they're not getting Joe Mixon. I'm saying it would be awesome though. It's not going to happen. No, but go get a running back that you have to pay attention to. You don't have Singletary, Moss. It's a wash. It's a wash. They're okay. They're decent.
They are good enough, and that's what matters. They are good enough, period, full stop. The guards are not good enough, period, full stop. They're not good enough. So we need guards, not running backs.
We do need guards. I never said we didn't need guards.
Yeah.
I never said that.
Way more than running backs.
Obviously, guard is but hold on, John. What guard are you going to bring in here right now? They just don't get rid of
the
guards.
Giants. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. The Giants.
Do you have a source?
Gettleman or
there's not enough guards.
Dean has connections with.
You're not. Teams just don't get rid of good guards. Unless you play an arm and a leg. What are you gonna give a 2nd round pick for a guard? What are you gonna get Will Hernandez for? What are you gonna get Will Hernandez for?
Why not?
Well, What are you going to
Give
get?
them Cody Ford and say, we'll take
And
Will
what?
Hernandez and whatever you want. 4th round pick next year.
Hey, y'all ever seen Chappelle's show when he does his stand up and they're like, we have 3
Go get
Negroes,
Zach Martin.
and they're like, we have that, and then they just hang up the phone. That's what it sounds like for Will Hernandez right now. The Bear and the Bees going to say, Will, you're going to give us Cody, and they're going to hang up the phone. Then I got to listen to you for Cody Ford, man. What are you going to get for Will Hernandez? I'm just saying they're not going to give up
any assets.
But this is a season where I think that the Bills they should be highly considering, hey, how much do we value that 2nd or 3rd round draft pick next year compared to whatever it is we can get this year to upgrade, be it an offensive line,
I hear what
whoever
you're saying.
It is around.
John DeMarch says Bills have 574 PF in the last 16 games, and then for history, only Denver in 2013 606. And 207. The past one 18-1. 589. That's what they had in 2007. Had more in a single 16. We are fine.
I think we're gonna be all right.
It's pretty funny.
Okay, and that's a great point. But again, we saw in the playoffs the Bills weren't able to pass the ball all over the yard. You want to be able to do. You want to be multiple. So when it calls for running the ball down someone's throat, we still struggle to do that, right? You want to be able to be multiple in the playoffs because you're not going to be able to just throw the ball in the yard. And the red zone offense right now is really bad. They got to get better there. And I think having better guard play is ideal. I think you're going to get that you're going to do that by the draft. You're going to do that by free agency. I don't, unless you could bring in Andrew Norwell, call the Jaguars. They're not going anywhere. Maybe you can get a 4th or 5th round pick and they give you Andrew Norwell. Carolina ties. I think he'd fit well in this offense. But we'll see. But Andrew Norwell will be a great guard. Will Hernandez, if the Giants will let him go, will be a great addition. But I don't know if it's going to happen. So you try to look at the next tier, and I think the next tier of that will be running back. Get a running back in here that can make some hay. Richie Incognito I'm not trade for him. That dude's 38, 37.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm not giving up assets for him to retire next year. Like, no, thank you.
Or in the year.
Right. I love Richie though. I love Richie. Wyatt Teller ain't happening. They're not giving up their all-pro guard. I'd be awesome, but it ain't happening, man. 38 and also 400 pounds. Hey, that brother can still play though, but he old as shit. In terms of NFL, he ain't coming. It ain't happening. Brandon Bean ain't doing that. All right, so that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So let's as we wrap up the show, let's kind of dive into the Dolphins. Okay. Right. And it's funny. It's funny. It's funny because the Bills, Miami Dolphins come to Buffalo on Halloween. Okay. I don't want to jinx the game. God, I just the rumors that surround Tua, you kind of feel bad for him. I mean, he's a good guy. He really is, man. But he ain't it.
Yeah. Well,
it sucks. You hear a lot of the Deshaun Watson rumors that's been going on for
years. 2 years now.
2 years now. Poor guy. I mean, but watching Tua, Eric and I, we're watching it, and it's just like Tua, the guy will not throw to the right side of the field over 5 yards. I mean, he had 2 passes over 20 yards on the right side of the field last game, and that's been, and he's been injured, but he does not like the right side of the field at all. I mean, if he throws right, it's like 5 yards and in, or it's behind the line of scrimmage to a running back, or to a wide receiver that just does a hook route. I mean, it's just, and then he locks onto his first read. If he's looking left, he's throwing a slant to a wide receiver, or he's throwing to a tight end over the middle. I mean, there is no variance or no manipulation, eye manipulation when it comes to reading the defense. When it comes to Tua, he's just not a good quarterback right now. And the Dolphins, man, you have to be, you passed up on Justin Herbert and you drafted Tua, and he ain't it. He sucks right now, and it's sad. It's sad because they should be. Last year they were a good team, and now they just. I don't know what it is, man. They just look like crap. It's sad. If you're a Dolphins fan, I feel for you. Not really.
I feel like Tua's probably lost the locker room at this point. And I think he has grown as a passer in the NFL. I think he's gotten better. He's just, you can, like the Atlanta game, you just see crucial mistakes that are so bad. It's not like, okay, quarterbacks are going to have their mistakes, right? The ball just bounces the wrong way or whatever. But Tua's just literally lost the game because he threw a really bad interception in the end zone. And then, the first play off a turnover when the team has momentum, he coughs it up on a really, really bad decision. And that costs him the whole game. And the locker room sees that. The team sees that. At this point, you're supposed to be getting away from that type of stuff. And it's easy to lose a locker room, especially when there's Deshaun Watson rumors and all this stuff. And it just will kill an entire team.
I mean, we've talked about that even in the preseason, that's got to affect the guy's confidence. And I agree with Sterling. He sounds like a real decent human being, great guy. But, he can't get it done on the field right now. And that's affecting his confidence, affecting his ability to play at his best.
It matters.
But the point I was going to make here is that we can bash Tua all day long. We all agree he's not it. They need to figure it out at quarterback, and they need to move on from Tua. But look at these numbers. 26 points given up, 35 points given up, 31 points given up, 27 points given up, 45 points given up, 23 points given up, and 30 points given up by this Miami Dolphins defense that came into this season as like, oh, it's the Miami Dolphins defense. You better respect them. I'm sorry, you're giving up 30 points a game? Like, what is wrong with you? You can't. I don't care how good your offense is. If you're giving up 31 points a game, you got a hell of a lot of problems. You could have a great quarterback back there, and you're not going to be winning half your games because you're giving up 31 points a game. I mean, granted, we just talked about Tua has made some mistakes to put that defense in bad position, but that's not all of these points for sure.
No.
That defense is not getting it done. They look terrible.
Brian Flores is a defensive coach, and they're supposed to be better.
Yes.
I think it comes down to the front office as a whole. I think it's the owner versus the coach not being on the same page when you got Fitzpatrick winning games last year, and then you bring in Tua. That shit doesn't make any sense. So they're killing. Tua needed to take a red shirt here last year. Just let him be healthy. Fitzpatrick should have been playing. When you have a young quarterback and you're not too sure, like he doesn't have Josh Allen ability, right? And even Josh Allen probably should have just rode the pine. He shouldn't have been thrown in a game. He wasn't ready. Tua's not ready yet. Tua could be okay. He could be okay, but they're rushing him. And when you don't have all your shit together. And from a draft standpoint, man, come on, man. It's just like you're putting a lot of pressure on a young quarterback like that. So when he screws up, it's amplified. And then all the Deshaun Watson rumors, man. It's like,
kills the team.
Why did you draft him if you were looking?
Thank you for this reminder, Mary C. Tua said the NFL was easy.
He did. Things he shouldn't have
Didn't Justin Fields say that too?
Things you should not say.
Yeah,
right?
Ever.
They don't have any answers on offensive line. Their offensive line is bad. Myles Gaskin is their running back? Come on, bro. Like, it's bad. You got some decent receiving options. You went and got Jalen Waddle, and you whiffed on a offensive tackle the year before out of USC. That's not good. You have nothing on the offensive line.
My narrative on the Dolphins, at least in the beginning of the season, was that they were going to be one of the biggest disappointments of the season. I expected them to be way behind, but now they're at the Jets.
They don't have a plan.
Come on. You're as bad as the Jets? I didn't see you being as bad as the Jets. So
when you don't have the quarterback position figured out, it gets out of control real quick. And that's what's going on is they're putting a lot of pressure on Tua, and it's just he needs time to sit. Like Sterling said, who's the veteran in the room that is going to teach Tua?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
I mean,
career backup quarterback with a couple of starts.
Jacoby Brissett is a decent backup.
Yeah.
And he played well. We talked about it with the Bills game last time. He played very well. He stood in the pocket and took a lot of hits. He looked a hell of a lot better than Tua did against the Bills for the 2 series he was out there.
I just don't. I mean, there's so many.
He seems like a good mentor. Just something's not clicking there. Yeah. Who's the offensive coordinator? And we watch them. It's just their offense is extremely underwhelming.
And let's say the Dolphins bring in Deshaun Watson. when is he going to play
Yeah,
again?
is he going to be able to play? Yeah,
He ain't playing this year, and
No,
then
I
next year
guarantee
we
you
don't
that-
even
yeah,
know.
He might be
They
suspended next
trade
year.
for
Who
him.
knows?
He's probably
Yeah,
going to be
the
put on the commissioner's
NFL,
exempt
you
list.
can't just let that dude play. They got to do what's right. I mean,
That's why I don't think they can trade for him right now. They
I
have
mean,
to let
that's
it
No,
play.
I think it's all rumors.
Because
Not
you have
for-
there's no contingency plan. This isn't like, oh, we can trade you our 3
Right.
first-round picks, and then if he never plays, we get 2 of them
Right.
back.
And none
No,
of these
there's no
rumors,
contingency.
none of these rumors are coming out of Miami. I think most of them are coming out of Houston.
Yeah.
Them trying to
fuel the
draw interest, create pressure,
Man.
put pressure on other
fire.
teams.
But nobody's
to-
going to pull that trigger
you know.
until after the season when this is all settled and we know what's going to happen with him.
but
Because then they could say, great, we know Deshaun Watson is suspended all of next season, right? Maybe that's the case. That doesn't mean they don't trade for him right now, right? Because they'll be like, oh, great, he's suspended all next season. His price just went down. We'll give you 2 first-round picks. You give it to him right now. And we'll take care of him.
Right,
He's gone all next season. We figure it out for 1 season, and then we move on, and we have Deshaun Watson and a lot of talented young guys on that.
I think from one of the things we always say, right, is what can the Bills, how can the Bills win on offense? I think you spread them out. I mean, look, the Dolphins, they want to play man coverage on the outside. Xavier Howard, they want to man up. They believe in we're gonna just play man. We're gonna let our corners, Byron Jones, Eric Rowe and Javon Holland is a matchup nightmare according to them. Nick Needham. I mean, they believe in their cornerback depth, right? So they want to play a lot of man coverage. And I'm sorry, but you're going to man up on Stephon Diggs. That's proven to be not a good idea. Now, I think him and Xavier Howard can trade reps, but there's no answer for Cole Beasley. There's no answer for Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, you're asking for trouble. So, yeah, line it up. Bills go multiple, go 4 or 5 wide and just destroy them. I mean, seriously, sorry for the language, but they can't match up with you. They're not going to play. They're not going to play zone defense. They're going to play man.
Right, they're going to play man and get destroyed. Christian Wilkins, I think, is somebody to pay attention to in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get good push up the middle from him. But outside of that, the linebackers, I can't even. What do they do great?
And Landon Roberts, no. Jerome Baker's decent. Duke Riley, no. Sam Iguanavin, no. I'm sorry. Van Ginkel shows he plays decent at times. Brendan Scarlett, who are you? I mean, I'm sorry, but it ain't it. I'm just look, man. It's rough. This is why they're supposed to be a defensive team, and their defense is not good.
It's
it's a divisional game. Do you think you'll get an effort from this team?
Man,
No.
From a morale standpoint,
yes, they don't know.
I don't think there's too much rumors.
Totally demoralized.
They're just the Dolphins are never in sync when in terms of front office to coaching to the field. There's just so much cloud. I've always was told if there's mist in the pulpit, there's fog in the pews. They have no plan. People are second guessing, questioning Brian Flores as a coach. What are they doing?
Yes,
This is like,
you're
man.
absolutely right. Coming off a last-second field goal loss, too, does not help.
Exactly.
Momentum.
They're completely – first of all, they're the Miami Dolphins. They could come in 7-0. You're playing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. You're already demoralized. I don't care if you're the hottest team in the NFL. I don't care what – you look at that schedule, you see Josh Allen, and you cry yourself to sleep.
Look, the Dolphins
there's not a damn thing you can do. I don't care if you put an all-pro roster out there of every all-pro there is. If you're the Miami Dolphins facing Joshua Allen, you're going to get your ass beat. Period. End of story.
Off a bye.
That's
McDermott
what he
is
coming off a bye. That's what I mean. I mean, so what can the Bills do to win on offense? Take a nap, go to sleep, run the ball.
Look.
That's what I want to see this game. Seriously, handoff up the middle. Second down, handoff up the middle. Third down, maybe we should.
You're saying the Bills should run the ball against the Dolphins?
Do whatever the frig you want. That's what I'm saying. They literally run the clock out. The game's over when it starts.
They had a 46-yard run against them week 2. I mean,
it's going to be, and that's the thing. Like you said, they're expecting us to pass. I just think you can just do whatever you want. Here's what I seriously would say. how the Bills can win on offense, don't show anything. Come out there with the most bland, boring, typical offense you can, because there is no sense in wasting a damn thing on a game like this, unless it's like, hey, we want to try this. We're up by 37 points in the fourth quarter. Let's try this double flea flicker reverse. Let Isaiah McKenzie punt it to the guy behind him who tosses it 50 yards to Stephon Diggs. Great.
But
let's do that. But exactly.
Okay,
nobody cares. But I think still they can
attack them. Seriously though, attack them over the middle. Use crossers, drag routes,
sure.
make their linebackers
nickel dime
work.
them to death. Just do it.
I'd say pressure the linebackers for sure.
Yeah, and then hit them over top. Eric Rowe could be had. Byron Jones could be had. Xavier Howard is so fixated on making big plays. He could be had deep. You're gonna have to use the running game to kind of mix in some play action concepts and get the linebackers to bite in, and then hit them over the intermediate middle and hit them long. I think this is where Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs is where they're gonna have really good games. Gabriel Davis could have some impact here. I think Cole Beasley in the slot, getting him the ball short, quick, and easy, I think it's a good thing. What we saw the Atlanta Falcons to do. I mean, Atlanta Falcons. And look, Kyle Pitts is a dog. I mean, they were lining him up outside, and he was eating he was eating them apart.
Tight end.
Yeah, he was eating them apart. Now, Kyle Pitts is a damn good player, but Stephon Diggs could do that too against Xavier Howard. And Eric Rowe, they put Eric Rowe on him. They had Byron Jones on him. It didn't matter. So Emmanuel Sanders can eat this game. So and Emmanuel Sanders is a better route runner than Kyle Pitts is right now. Right now. So Knox is not going to be playing. You're not going to see Dawson Knox. So
I expect a heavy dose of Cole Beasley in his place.
Yeah, this is Cole Beasley's.
Shift the folk a little bit.
Gabriel
attack
Davis.
the holes in the zone. If they go man, Cole Beasley will win that all day.
All day.
The one thing is that McDermott has shown versus divisional opponents especially, he does not really like to take the foot off the gas. So we could seriously, if the Bills are blowing them out, it could be up to 41-0, and they're still out there making the same play calls, doing the same things that have been working. It wouldn't surprise me. But I do expect them to work in the run a little bit more in this game, just because, like I said, they know they can. It's going to be like, all right, we'll just run it 2 out of 3 plays, and then we know we got to guarantee we're going to do this. We got this plan. So I do expect them to work the clock a little bit in that first half and do what McDermott likes to do. They're going to score. It's going to happen regardless, and often. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we're running out of time. So let's give me your score prediction real quick of the Bills and the Dolphins. What do you got?
38-6.
38-6 Bills.
Good one,
Anthony.
Good one. I'll go 40-13.
I like that. I would say the Bills put up a 40 spot. 40-16. 42-16. Trey Ellis says 99-13. That's a good score.
Trubisky's going to get 40 too.
If they continue to put Tua out there in passing situations, we might get 3 defensive touchdowns.
Well, the Dolphins are averaging 18 points.
63-3. Jeez.
How about this? 33-18. The Bills are averaging 33.8 points per game. The Dolphins are averaging 18. They're 29th.
They're only averaging 18 points.
Bills are currently second.
I think they're going to eat to the offensive line.
We saw it. We saw it too. They couldn't even last. Jacoby Brissett's going to be out there again, so they're going to game plan for Brissett.
And Mary C says 40-10. I mean, it could happen. Yeah. It totally could happen. Okay. So with that being said, and I'm not, trying to rush us out of here, but we want to stay on schedule here. Anthony Romeo is going to take us away for the 5 for 5. Anthony, the floor is yours, my friend. We need to win the bag. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Week 7, the bye week for the Buffalo Bills, but not for the 5 for 5. We went 4-1 again in that week. Really, really lighting it up, doing well. We need that 5 for though. Let's go. The record right now that I've had through the past 6 weeks, really since week 1, where I 1-4 week 1. It's been 4-1, 4-1, 3-1-1, and 1-3-2, meaning 3 2-2, not 1 win. But it's been an insane hot start for the 5 for 5 once again this year. We killed it last year. We're on pace to shatter that this year. And here I am in week 8 with my 5 for 5. I'm going to start it with my number 5, work my way up to the number 1. Here's my number 5 once again. The Dallas Cowboys -2.5 at the Minnesota Vikings. Look, we know the Minnesota Vikings stay in games, but that Cowboys offense is legitimate. So I'm taking the Cowboys -2.5 at Minnesota. My number 4 pick of the week, the Chargers -5 versus New England. This is crazy to me. New England, they can't put points up. They're giving up points. This isn't a pushover team. The Chargers are still a really great offense, and New England hasn't shown that they can compete against a great offense. I'm taking the Chargers -5 versus New England as my number 4 pick. In number 3, I'm coming with the hottest team of the week, the Cincinnati Bengals, -10 versus the New York Jets. It's tough. The Jets, their quarterback, their young guy, Zach Wilson, injured, probably isn't going to be able to start this game. Cincy, hot as can be. 10 points seems like a big margin, but not against the Jets and not for one of the hot teams in the NFL right now. Cincy -10 at the Jets is my number 3 pick. At number 2, I have another hot team, the Tennessee Titans -1.5 at Indy. Indy played that sloppy win against the 49ers in the rain. They still haven't looked like they've gotten it together the past few weeks. I'm not a believer in them. Tennessee's the hot hand right now. I'm taking Tennessee with my number 2 pick, -1.5 at Indy. And my number 1 big bet of the week this week is the Los Angeles Rams -14 versus the Houston Texans. Once again, the Houston Texans are not an NFL franchise, and this Rams team is absolutely legit. So 14 points, although I usually tell you to avoid the big spreads, that's not nearly big enough for the Rams at Houston. I said the same thing last week with Arizona versus Houston, and that came to fruition as well. So once again, huge line, but not favorable for Vegas, as I expect the Rams to cover. So once again, running through the 5 quickly. Number 5, the Cowboys -2.5 at Minnesota. Number 4, the Chargers -5 versus New England. Number 3, Cincy -10 at the Jets. Number 2, Tennessee -1.5 at Indy. And number 1, the Rams -14 at Houston. Let's get that money, ladies and gentlemen. We've been 4-1 every week. We need that big time 5-0. Hit that 5-way parlay. Throw down that money on each of these bets. We've been winning it. Let's be part of it.
All right, so that is the 5 for 5 with the old Anthony Romeo. Appreciate you doing that, man. Look, I'm scared to bet, man. I don't even know if I should even be doing this anymore because I ain't winning shit. Maybe if I throw down some big money.
Follow my lead there, Sterling.
Dude, I try, man. I try. Then I just get greedy. But typically at this point we would do our picks, but for the sake of time, because it's almost hour and 40 minutes we've had you here, go to Tally Site. That's where all of our picks are for our guys, me, Anthony, Eric, and all of our guys that cover one. You can find us on Tally Site. We post all of our picks. If you want to talk about the spread, if you want to do the money line, if you want to do the over-unders, all of our picks are there. You can look at our progress throughout the season. All of our guys in cover one, we are all in the top 50 or top 100. We're all pretty high ranked up there. And this is not just Buffalo media. This is the nation in terms of national media. So all of our guys at cover one are doing really, really well. We'll tweet them out too. We'll tweet out our graphic. We'll tweet out our graphic of the Bills pick of our picks for the week. This week, I'll make sure I put that out and tag you guys in it. So look for that. If you want to see our picks of the week, I usually put like, which ones do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Because obviously we all have our own ideas, and I'm picking the Giants this week over Kansas City. So, but be sure to follow. Bold. Yeah, that is pretty bold. Be sure to follow, and subscribe to the Hoof Podcast. We really do appreciate all your viewership, all your support, and also at Cover One. This is our home. This is where we do our thing. Cover One's been kind to us, and we love Cover One. It's been a great. We've been, loving them having us contribute here. So that's how we all eat. Is if you guys watch the show, you could, you follow, subscribe, and contribute that way. But we couldn't thank you guys enough, man. And we're, now it's back to work, right? We got a game over on Sunday, man. Make sure that you guys are being safe. It's Halloween. If you're gonna do your partying, man, call an Uber. Be safe out there. Protect your kids. People
It's my
crazy
most
out there.
favorite holiday of the year. I'm super excited for Halloween.
Anthony's
Hide your
gonna
wife.
turn up. Hide your
Yep,
wife, hide your kids.
Yeah.
I'm staying inside, man. But anyways, man, we love you guys, and the Bills are gonna beat the hell out of the Dolphins this weekend. And we just want to say, go Bills.
Go Bills.
And we out of here.
Go Bills.